Welcome to the Beautiful View podcast, where we encourage you to look for opportunities in your life to see a beautiful view. I'm Candy.
And I'm Paul. Today, we're talking about something that sounds really simple, but something that we find difficult to put into practice.
Yep, we're talking about rest. We're going to dive deep into why rest feels so hard and how we can begin to embrace it the way it was meant to be.
So sit back, relax, and let's find a beautiful view together.
We could climb a mighty mountain, float on down a winding river, travel back in time and face our future too. I'm not scared of where I'm going, 'cause I know whose hands I'm holding. Oh, I'd go anywhere, as long as you're going to. Well, I'd go anywhere, as long as I'm with you.
So why does rest feel so hard?
Yeah, why?
Because if we're honest, most of us don't struggle with working. We struggle with stopping. For me, it's just getting my brain to stop.
And what's interesting is God actually commands rest. It's not just a suggestion. Mm-hmm. It's not like if you get around to it. It's built into the rhythm of creation. In the very first book of the Bible, Genesis, it says that on the seventh day, God had finished all of his work and he rested.
But even knowing that, when we try to rest, there's just something in us that resists that. Mm-hmm. We feel guilty, we feel unproductive, and maybe even a little anxious.
Yeah, sometimes we do. We've both tried to practice Sabbath, and honestly, it didn't go the way we expected.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things and reasons why rest feels so hard is because our culture celebrates busyness.
Yes, it does. Somewhere along the way, being busy became a badge of honor. I say this almost all the time. Like when I'm asked, how are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm busy.
Yeah, well, what are you supposed to say? Well, I've been resting. No one's going to say that. That makes you sound like you're lazy. And in today's culture, that doesn't fly very well.
Right.
Even when I do have a rare lazy day, I feel like I have to kind of explain myself. If you're always doing something, always producing, always moving, it kind of feels like you're doing life right.
Right. And
when you stop, it almost feels like you're falling behind.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we start to tie our worth into our productivity. So when we rest, it doesn't really feel like rest. It feels like we're failing to do something.
Yep.
Because let's face it, there's always something that needs to be done.
Always. And then there's the mental side of it, right? Even if you stop physically, your mind doesn't. At least mine doesn't.
No.
If I had $1 for every time I woke up in the middle of the night, just kind of like working on the next event I'm planning or thinking about our schedule for the week or groceries I need to get from the grocery store for the week or trying to remember what I'm supposed to do the next day, I swear my brain. I would be a very rich person.
Yes.
It's kind of ridiculous, actually. So I've started a brain dump list on my phone on my notes app. And that does help a little bit because if I wake up in the middle of the night or those little thoughts hit randomly during the day, I just add them to my notes list and then I'll go back to those when I have time to like focus on them. And that does seem to help a little bit.
Yeah, it does help because you're not churning over that list over and over again in your head. So yeah, for me, I tend to sit down to rest and suddenly I remember everything I haven't done.
Yeah.
So this is how it usually goes. I sit down on the couch and one of my favorite things to do to kind of switch off is to turn on the TV. So then I go to YouTube and I watch a video about someone fixing something, whether that be like a watch, a motorcycle, a ranch. I mean, there's all kinds of these YouTube channels that I'm really into. And then that kind of like, it makes me happy. But then I start thinking to myself, oh, yes, I still have to get the slide seals fixed on the RV.
Yeah.
Now, where did I see those parts? So I start looking up on my phone for the parts that I need to do the job. Because it's okay to play on your phone, right? It's a rest day. I mean, that's fine. So I see what the price is. And then that's like, oh, okay, that was kind of expensive. That was more than I thought it was going to be. So then I go out to the shop and I hunt around, like finding something that might work instead. And then my ADHD kicks in. And that's when I noticed that the lawnmower is sitting there ready for mowing season, but I still did I leave it with gas in it? Does it need to be cleaned out? Do the blades
all the
things? So I start fiddling with the lawnmower.
Yeah.
And then the dogs see that, I'm up and around. And so they're like, they start fussing. They want to go for a walk because Grumpy's looking like he wants to do something. So then I start to feel guilty because like all of these things go back into that category we talked about, which is where we feel like we're wasting time.
Right.
So then I'm like, you know what? If I'm up and around, I should really do something that I'm supposed to be doing. So then I go back to my desk, switch on the computer, and start editing a video that's been sitting in line for weeks. That's how it goes for me.
Yeah, I get it. It's almost like your to-do list gets louder the moment that you sit down and try to be still, which makes rest feel not restful at all.
Not restful. I think underneath all of this is the question, can I trust that things will be okay if I stop?
That's a big question. Sometimes I think they won't. That's kind of the problem.
Right.
I'm the type of person who likes to be on top of things all the time. I'm a planner. I want everything to happen perfectly.
Yes.
So, for example, I'm currently planning one of the biggest events for the year at River Ridge Brewing.
Yep.
It's a 5K-ish fun run, and the proceeds from it benefit the Friends of the Bellevue State Park, our local state park. So, and though I've participated in it multiple times, this is my first year to actually do the planning for the event.
That's a big deal.
And I want it to be extra special. Let's be real. Everything I do is kind of extra.
Oh, yes, it is.
There are just a ton of things to think about for this event. So I find myself just constantly going over and over and over things in my head. And not to mention, I'm planning some other fun things after that. So
of course,
I'm not just working on that. I'm working on the next thing, brainstorming for those things as well. So
I know you are. Like just the other night, we're sitting on the couch and we were watching something on TV, and then you're looking at your phone and you start giggling.
Yeah, I was brainstorming around the idea of having a pickle fest.
Okay.
So we already have on our menu a pickle flatbread.
Yes.
Which has been a hit.
It's
People love
delicious.
it.
It's delicious.
So we have a pickle beer coming on tap pretty soon.
Yep.
Thinking about doing like a pickle pretzel. We already have pickle peanuts. I think we need a pickle fest. So I started brainstorming and thinking about it. And then I was looking on Amazon at all things pickle. Oh my gosh. There's pickle hats and pickle socks and pickle costumes and all the things pickle. It's actually kind of fun to go down that little rabbit hole.
The little,
to
the pickle place.
I can't make it stop. Like once that kind of like stuff starts in my head, like it will not turn off.
So a pickle costume. Who's going to be wearing the pickle costume?
Well, I wanted you to, but you said no. So we asked Tom, our owner, and he didn't sound very excited about it. So maybe I'll wear the pickle costume. I don't know. Someone's going to be a pickle.
Someone's wearing the pickle costume.
Somebody's going to be a pickle.
Part of this worry for me is about what happens if I stop. I'm self-employed. Not that I was all that different when I was employed.
Right. Yep.
But we don't get paid unless I complete projects. Our income is entirely performance-based. There's no base salary. So when I consider stopping, I think about whatever financial shortfall is going to come because I haven't gotten things done.
Yeah, sure. And sometimes that can be either real or imagined.
Right.
I know that's true, but I used to be able to help you a little bit more than I can now. Now it's just not very practical for me to
No, because you're busy.
to do that. So, but you work really, really hard all the time. But I know that you have struggled with kind of staying on task and being productive when you're working. You use that little app, and I can't remember what it's called.
So it's an app that measures what they call pomodoros.
That's right. That's what it is.
Yes. Yeah. So you do blocks of time, and it kind of like sets a timer where you do blocks of 20 minutes at a time.
To kind of keep you focused for that period of time.
Yes. And then you have to take a break.
Right.
Which is kind of really annoying sometimes. So you have to kind of... So I'm like, oh, gosh, I got to take another 5-minute break.
Yeah.
And then that makes you want to come back and work again. So it
Yeah.
kind of tricks me into being productive.
Being more productive. Yeah. And when you use that, you tend to stay focused better. And then you feel better about when you get done with your day, like you've completed like a ton of things. So
yeah. There's nothing better than that feeling when you get to the end of the day and you've actually gotten, a lot done. And then you can just, I love that when I can just chill and do whatever I want to for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I hate leaving things unfinished at the end of the day.
Then there's all the side projects.
Yeah, there's that, like this podcast.
And this is one big side project. Now, we put this in the category of ministry work, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've mentioned before this podcast is kind of like a heart project for us. It fulfills that little part of our lives where we're able to like pour ourselves into others.
Yes.
And I absolutely love it. I had someone, when I was walking into work the other day, had someone stop me on the street and say, "Hey, I was just talking to someone and they were saying they listen to your podcast and how much they love it. I'm going to check it out." I know. Isn't that crazy? So people come up to me and tell me that all the time. But I love it when somebody tells me that they enjoy listening to our podcast or that something from one of the episodes really spoke to their heart.
Yeah, that's nothing better.
That just like, it makes it feel like it's worthwhile,
Yes.
And like anything else worthwhile, it takes time, energy, efforts to put each episode together. And I would say that we probably collectively between the two of us, we probably invest 20 to 30 hours in each one of these episodes.
At least.
So it's kind of a lot when you think about doing that on top of like all the other hats that we wear.
Sure. Yeah. But we did manage to get some rest over Easter.
Oh, we did. Yes. The brewery was closed on Easter Sunday, so I didn't have to think about anything. We went to church. We came back and enjoyed a lovely meal. Yep. The kids were here. And then I don't know if I went into a food coma or what, but I laid down on the couch and I took the first Sunday afternoon nap that I have taken in years.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, you were out for like a really long time.
Probably 3.5 hours. We have both tried to practice Sabbath at different times over the years.
Yes, and I have never really taken Sabbath that seriously until I want to say it was like a couple of years ago now. And I visited my friends in Plano, Texas. So one of the guys that we've been friends for a long time now. And he had just started up a new church there in Plano. And so I was visiting with them. And I knew most of them except for the one guy that's their worship pastor. So I was kind of getting to know him, a real cool guy. And he was telling me that he takes every Saturday off. Like every Saturday is Sabbath for him.
Okay.
So he switches his phone off. He doesn't go into the office. He doesn't. He's already prepped for Sunday.
Yeah.
By the time he gets to the end of Friday, and so he takes the whole Sabbath off. So I did a little bit of my own research after that. And while we're not under the Old Testament law anymore, the fourth commandment of the 10 commandments is keep the Sabbath day holy.
Yeah.
And I think it's there because God just knows that's a good idea for us.
Of course.
And Jesus said it was not that we were to obey it as a law. So it's not like testing us, but it was to help us to find balance. In Mark 2, verse 27, Mark records what Jesus said about the Sabbath. The Sabbath was made to meet the needs of people and not people to meet the requirements of the Sabbath.
Yeah, it seems so simple, doesn't it? I crave rest. How could it be that difficult?
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I think I'm going to take a day. I'm going to unplug. I'm going to rest. And instead, I just keep thinking, I should be doing something. I need to do XYZ while I have time to do it and while I have time to think about it and all of those kinds of things. And before you know it, I turn around twice and I haven't had a true day off in weeks.
Yes.
So I'm actually kind of feeling that today.
Even when you choose to rest, there's that internal voice that we hear that says, this isn't a good use of your time. You should be using this time in a wiser way. Do something.
It's like the little angel and devil on your shoulders.
Do something productive. And that voice is hard to ignore.
Yeah. And for me, I know how to stop working. I can force myself to take a day off of work on occasion, but it's really hard for me in those times to be restful, to stop thinking about it.
Yeah, to enjoy that time. My solution to this used to be to work really hard for 16 hours straight.
It's crazy.
Then come home, pass out, unconscious for 10 hours. The idea of being able, though, to consciously rest seems amazing, but it's hard to do.
It is. So instead of feeling refreshed on a day off, I'd feel restless. And I think part of the shift for me has been redefining what rest actually is.
Yes.
It's not just sitting on the couch all day doing nothing.
No.
But it's doing something that restores you. The biggest key for me is I have to intentionally have a plan, because if I don't, my default is to resort to picking up my laptop and checking emails and then it's just a slippery slope every single time.
And I'm the exact same way. Rest can look like slowing down, being present, doing something that's life-giving, not just sitting in silence and forcing yourself to relax.
Yeah, exactly. And I've had to learn to start small, not trying to get it perfect, just creating space. Because I think sometimes we feel like if we can't do a full, perfect, complete Sabbath, then why even try, you know?
Yeah, like getting an A+ for your
Yeah,
rest day.
exactly.
But even small, intentional moments of rest actually matter and make a difference.
Yeah. You know what I love?
What?
One of the things that started to feel really restful and restoring for me is something super simple.
Okay.
Just slowing down in the morning.
Yeah.
And we've been sitting down together on the couch, having a really good cup of our favorite Verena Street coffee.
Yes, we have.
And just taking a few minutes before the day gets going to just spend some really intentional time together.
Yeah, not just grabbing our coffee and rushing out the door, but actually sitting with it.
Yeah. It's actually more about creating a moment to pause before everything starts, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. And we do love us some Verena Street coffee.
Yes, we do.
It's like a little sip of heaven. Surely they have coffee in heaven.
Surely they do. I'd like to imagine that there's a whole row of big coffee dispensers full of Verena Street. You know, like streets of gold?
That does sound heavenly. So what is something small and intentional that you enjoy that refreshes your soul?
Well, you know, every time I take the time to cook for the family in the evening, it just reminds me that this is what I love to do. I love the process of being able to create something and put it in front of the family, you know, in the evening. And I love that. And it's funny, I always forget that. But I have to be intentional about it because I need to make sure that I stop in plenty of time in that day so that I got time to prep and get ready for it. Because if I'm rushing around cooking, then that
can get
defeats
stressful.
that defeats the purpose.
I also enjoy what I like to call art therapy.
Yes.
It doesn't matter whether I'm painting, coloring, or what I'm creating. Art always settles my soul and just fills my heart.
Yeah, and you're good at it too.
Yeah, I actually get to do it pretty regularly with my job. That is one thing that is kind of restorative with my job. I get to do the tap boards and the chalkboards and all of those kinds of things, and that's always fun. I also attended, we had a lady come in and do a paint class at the brewery on Sunday, and I kind of took part in that and made the cutest little wooden sign. It was so neat. So it was neat to learn some different techniques and stuff, and she's a great teacher.
Yeah.
Working in the yard also does that for me. Working in flower beds. We've got our flower bed at the state park. I need to make it up there and work on that. That's always, it just calms my soul.
And you planted some daffodils out here.
I did.
And they're all out now.
Yep. They've all bloomed now. And it just makes me happy every time I walk out the back door and see those little pretty yellow daffodils standing there staring at me saying, good morning.
I think rest often feels hard because we've made it about stopping.
Yeah.
But God designed it to be more than that. And that's what we're talking about, you know, whether that's art or cooking or working in the yard. Because this isn't just rest for our bodies, it's rest for our souls. So it doesn't necessarily mean doing nothing. It means doing something that's good for us.
Yeah.
A walk, a conversation with friends, a casual bike ride.
Painting, gardening, cooking, whatever that looks like for you. What's so interesting is that rest isn't just a good idea.
Right.
It's something God modeled and commanded. In Genesis, God created the world in 6 days, and then he rested on the seventh, not because he was tired, but to establish a rhythm and an example for us.
And then in Exodus 20, the Sabbath becomes a command. Remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy, which means rest is actually an act of obedience, not laziness. And I think one of the most powerful parts of the Sabbath is what it represents, trust.
Yes, and when we rest, we're saying, God, I trust you are in control.
Yes.
Even when I'm not working.
And that's hard for us.
It is so hard because we like to feel in control. We like to feel like everything depends on us.
Yes.
But Jesus invites us into something different. In Matthew 11:28, he says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." That's not just physical rest. That's soul level rest.
Yes, rest isn't something we earn when everything is done. It's something that God invites us into right in the middle of it all. It's not just physical, it's soul filling.
And that is today's beautiful view. Thank you for joining us today. Our hope is always to inspire and encourage our listeners. So today we talked about why rest feels so hard.
Yes.
How culture, mindset, and even our own habits can make stopping feel uncomfortable. But we also talked about how rest isn't a weakness. It's a rhythm God designed for us.
So here's our simple challenge for you this week. Take one intentional step toward rest.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
No.
It doesn't even have to be a full day. Just create a moment where you slow down, unplug, and choose something that restores you.
And pay attention to what comes up when you do. That might tell you more than you expect.
Thank you for being here with us today. If this episode encouraged you, we'd love for you to share it with someone else who might enjoy it.
Yes.
And as always, thank you for being a part of this community. We're grateful you're here and honored to walk this journey with you.
If you like what we do here at the Beautiful View podcast, you can show your appreciation by becoming a supporting member for only $5 a month. Your support helps us cover our production costs. The link for you to sign up is in our show notes.
Yep, and be sure to follow Beautiful View Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. Those links are also in our show notes.
So at the end of each episode, we like to find out what the next one will be about. So what's it going to be next time?
Well, next time we're going to be wrapping up season 4 of the Beautiful View Podcast.
Okay, so it's that time already.
Can't believe it. And we thought it'd be fun to look back at our top 3 beautiful views.
Okay.
The moments that stuck, the ones that surprised us, and a few that challenged us more than we expected.
Okay, this might be harder than I think. I'll have to go back over all of our notes and see if I can find out what my top 3 is.
Yeah, I think I will too, but I think it'll really come together.
Yes.
It'll be a light, honest conversation to close out the season.
Yeah.
And you know what? We would love for our listeners to be a part of it.
We would.
So shoot us a message if you had a favorite episode or if there was a takeaway from one of the episodes in this season. We would love to feature some of your insights in this last episode.
Thanks again for joining us. We hope you have a great day, and remember to always keep an eye open for opportunities in life to see a beautiful view.
Have a good one.
We could climb a mighty mountain, float on down a winding river, travel back in time and face our future too. Oh, I'm not scared of where I'm going, 'cause I know whose hand I'm holding. Oh, I'd go anywhere as long as you're going to. And I'd go anywhere as long as I'm with you. Yeah, I'd go anywhere.